Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rustic Barn Cards. I am Terry Hartley at Rustic Barn Cards, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming to you from Iowa. And today is my craft along. It's so exciting. So, my October craft along, I am featuring the Christmas Friends. And for those of you that order the kit ahead of time, you can get that out and craft along with me, or you can watch now and craft along later at your convenience. Today is Tuesday, October the 29th of 2024. If you did not order the kit ahead of time, I am offering an ordering special. Now, the kit beef that you could have ordered ahead of time, it had product in it that you would have extra product to use for other projects. Now, my ordering special for now through Sunday of November the 3rd. I think that's right. November 3rd is a Sunday. So now through November 3rd, you can place a $35 order with me before tax and shipping. And I will send you two each of the three cards that we're going to make today. So that's 6 cards. So a kit to make 6 cards plus one 3D project. So you'll have 7 projects that I will send you a kit that you can make. And I also will include a recipe card, which will have the measurements and photos. And then you can watch this video to put everything together. Now, if your order is over 50, I will also send you the package of embellishments that we're using today. Okay, I think that's it. I'm just grab a cup of coffee, hot tea, whatever your beverage of choice is, and sit back and relax and enjoy because we're going to be crafting a little bit longer than my usual time because I usually just make 1 or 2 projects. And today I am making 4 projects. And then after I have this here, I will go back and add some chapters so you can find each of the projects for those of you that want to go back and recreate them. Okay, let me turn the camera down and let's get started. All right, so as I mentioned, we're going to be using the Christmas Friends bundle, the stamp set, and the dies that go with this. For our first card, we're going to be using the moose. And then in your dies, you have a circle die. And I'm going to use stylish shapes because I want the stitched edging. But you can most certainly use this circle die for your card. And of course, if you have the kit, it's already die cut out for you. So I love these Christmas Friends, the owl, the bear, the mouse, and the moose. A little sprig here. Have a berry. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. I'll be thinking of you this season. And then the designer series paper that I've chosen for our project today in my October craft along is the Take a Bow. And I really like this paper. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Let me show you the card. So let me show you the first project that we're going to make today. Happy holidays. And so our moose is our focal point. So let me lay that aside and we will go ahead and get started. And for those of you that have the craft along kit, go ahead and yours will be labeled. And go ahead and choose card 1 and get all of those pieces out. Now, on my kit, I did not go ahead and die cut the basic white layer because I wanted to show everyone how to do that because I know everyone doesn't have the kit, but for those of you that have the kit, yours will already be done. And then you'll have basic white to do some stamping on, and then you'll have two basic white layers that are the same, and one is for the front and then one is for the inside. And then we're using this designer excuse me, series paper today. And so our card base is Real Red, and it's just a basic card size, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Then I'm going to lay that aside, and we're going to do some stamping. So let's go ahead and stamp our trees. We're going to be using Mental Black ink, Garden Green, and Real Red. So I'm going to go ahead and grab our little sprig. And then I'm just going to stamp in the lower right-hand corner. And then let's go ahead and then adhere this to the inside of our card. I will be using the Garden Green and that stamp a little bit later. So if you want to wait and just stamp everything together, that's fine too. But we will go ahead and place our basic white inside layer, which is 5 by 3 3/4, inside our card base. And I'm going to bring our scrap, a basic white, and I'm going to bring our cute little moose in, and I'm using Block E. I'm going to go ahead and ink this up using Memento Black ink. And when it's a large stamp, I like to turn it over and bring the ink to my stamp. Just like that. Clean that off. And then let's go ahead and bring in our blends and do a little coloring. So I am using, here we go, do my little Pool Party, Pumpkin Pie, Crumb Cake, Gray Granite, Granny Apple Green, and Real Red. And so this is for all of the projects today. So for this particular card, I'm going to use Real Red, and Granny Apple Green, and I believe that is, oh, we don't want to forget the body. We're going to be using Crumb Cake. So that's what we're going to be using for our little moose today. So I'm going to start with dark Crumb Cake. And notice how on the lines, and I'm going to see if I can bring this a little closer to you. So on our image, Stampin' Up! Has given us some lines. So I am just going to go over those that are already there. Just like that. Then I'm going to come back with the light Crumb Cake. And then I'm just going to kind of shade that in. Now, after you color one time, if you want it darker, you can just go back over and apply more. Now this, I'm using this bullet in, but my body's a little bit larger. So when my image is a little larger, then I like to use this tip here. But if it's small, then I use the other one. But there isn't any right or wrong way, so it's just whatever works for you. Don't forget his little ear over there. Now, if I want a little more shading, I can come back with the dark. And I can shade that back just a little bit. And then I can come back with the light, give it just a second, and then blend that together. All right. Now I'm going to make his nose just a little bit darker. So I'm just going to color his nose with dark crumb cake. And I'm going to just do the bottom of the, looks like he's on ice skates maybe. And you can color those ice skates with gray granite if you want to. But I'll just go ahead and do the dark crumb cake. And now I'm going to start with the light real red. And because I'm going to be using it small, I'm going to color smaller. I'm using this kind of bullet tip, is what I call that. And then I'm just going to do every other one. I was looking to see to make sure it was light, because even our light red is fairly bright. And if you want to make it a little bit darker, you can add the dark real red where those marks are. But this doesn't take too long to color. And then I'm going to color the shoes red. Just like that. Then I'm going to come back with Granny Apple Green. I think I missed a little, see that little spot right there? Oh, I know, that's the scarf. Okay, it's all good. We're going to come back with the light Granny Apple Green. And this is his scarf up here. And then we are going to add some green on his socks. Just like that. Okay. Let's go ahead and move the blends out of the way. And then let's go ahead and die cut our mousse out. So let me bring this back up. And I have plates 1, plate 2, plate 3. And the die is the flat side toward me. And then I like to grab some sticky notes or washi tape, or there's even Post-it notes. And I'm going to put one right here because I do not want my die to move. Some of you can do this without even adding any washi tape, but it just seems to work better for me if I do. Then I'll crank this through. And while we have this out, we are also going to die cut our stylish circle shape. So I'm going to bring in our basic white, and we're using the largest stylish circle shape. So we're using the largest one. And if you do not have the stylish shapes, I think everyone should have this in their stash, because you have squares, circles, and labels for sentiments. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of place this right here, about right there, because I want to leave enough room to stamp my sentiment. And I think that looks good. So each of them might be a little bit different, because I'm just kind of, you know, I'm just eyeing it and deciding where I want to add that circle. Yours will be already cut for you. Let me move this out of the way. And of course, you can use this for another card. Let's go ahead and bring our garden green back. And as I mentioned, we're going to stamp some more of those trees. So I'm going to ink this up full strength. Just tap, tap, and I'm going to place it right over here. And then I'm going to place the one right here. And then one more. Just like that. Go ahead and ink this up. Full strength. And just like that. Then I'm going to bring in our real red ink. Happy Holidays. And this is from the Christmas Friends. And I'm going to stamp this in the upper left-hand corner. And hold your hold your breath, because I want to make sure that I have this straight. Great, it worked. Thank you. Now we are ready to put our card together. So we're going to bring in our designer series paper, which is 5 1/4 by 4, and we're going to add this. So I want the designer series paper to be larger than my basic white, so the edge of the designer series paper will show. Now, of course, you always have this side to use. That's what I love about our pattern paper. You have two sides to choose from, and sometimes it's really difficult, isn't it, to decide which one you want to use. So we'll line this up the best we can, and then I am going to turn this over, and we're going to bring in our dimensionals, and we're going to pop up this layer. So we're making a little frame for our moose. I know, those of you that watch me regularly, you know that I love my dimensionals. All right. Okay, let's take off the caps. I have not, some people can take these off with their take your pick tool. I have not learned how to do that. This just works faster for me. It's using my fingernails. All right, now we're going to place this. I'll get my head over here. So just a little bit of the designer series paper shows around the edge of the basic white. And then let's bring our moose in. We're going to go ahead and we'll try not to get too carried away with the dimensionals here. If you want to, you can add dimensionals behind this on the antlers. You might need your small ones. And then we're just going to place him right here, just like this, and bring in our embellishments, Basic Gray and Smoky Slate Pearls, which those of you that ordered your kit, all of you have a package of these. And I'm going to go ahead and use the small. Put 2 right there. And I think I'm going to add 1 right here on the top of our little tree. Now, I'm going to add something extra to this, and it's in your kit, so you can do that. It's optional, because those of you that already have your kit, you have a full roll of ribbon to use. So go ahead and make you a bow if you want to. And those of you that will be placing an order with me this week, you'll get the pieces just like this. You'll get the 2 sheets of Designer Series paper to make 2 cards, and you will have enough ribbon. I'll send you if you want to add a bow. Now I have to decide where I want to add this bow, right? So, you know, maybe you do not need the bow. So you can just decide on that. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit, just about like that. All right, this is our first project. So here is our card with our bow, and then here is the card without the bow. And you can decide which you like the best. So here is our card 1 of our craft along. And again, if you would like to have me send you the free kit with the pieces to make 2 of this card plus 2 of the other cards I'm going to be sharing today, then there's information in the description. Just place an order with me by Sunday using the host code, and at least a $35 order before taxes and shipping. Okay, are you ready for project 2? Yes, great. Okay, here we go. So here is our second project for our craft along, and we're using the Forever Plaid embossing folder, and we're going to use that moose again, and we're using the little mouse. All right, let's go ahead and make this card. And for those of you that have your kit, go ahead and get everything out. And yes, you have an envelope for all of your cards, and if you place an order with me through Sunday, you will also in your kit get envelopes for your cards. Okay, this is the basic white, so we're going to go ahead and fold that in half. Bring our bone folder. And then I'm going to go ahead, so it's going to open up this way here. So we're going to go ahead and add our Forever Plaid. So it is already embossed for you in your kit. If I can hang on to the bottle of glue anyway. And you can do the emboss side or the deboss side, I think it's called. You can decide. Whoop. Go ahead and get that lined up straight as we can. Okay, I'm going to lay that aside, and then we're going to go ahead and do some stamping. So to figure out which one that you're going to stamp on, you can go ahead and lay it like this. So this is the one that the basic white that layers with a real red. So we are going to stamp our mouse right here. And I'm going to bring in our Christmas friends. And we're going to get our little mouse out. And bring in a block. And I'm going to use gray granite to stamp our mouse. just tap, tap, tap. I kind of like to look to make sure that we have plenty of ink. And then we're going to stamp this in the lower right-hand corner. Just like that. I'm going to lay that aside, and I'm going to bring in our basic white and our mousse. And we're going to go ahead and ink this up. I think I'm going to use the basic black for our mousse, like we did before. You will not need to see me coloring him. I have one ready to go because you already saw me color him earlier, right? Okay, and then let's go ahead and bring this, our sentiment piece, and we're going to need real red, and we're going to stamp Happy Holidays. So we are using the same sentiment as we did for our first card. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and we will color the mouse. So we are going to use gray granite. So I'm going to use our dark. I'm going to bring that down so you can see. And then just once again, now we could make the inside of the ears pink if we wanted, but I'm not going to do that. So we're just going to add some dark right along here. I'm going to make the tail dark. And I think that I can add just a little bit more there. Come back with the light. The light gray granite. I am going to color his nose real red. And there are some lines on his body that I didn't color in darker, but you could certainly do that. And again, if you want him just a little bit darker, you can just go over that one again. And don't forget his little paw there. And then we're going to come back with light pool party. And we're going to color his bell and his book, or her book, with the pool party. And then we're going to take real red, this little dot there. So I'm just kind of putting dots because on the bow, because it is rather small. So just little dots. We'll color that in. And then on, I guess on his nose, I don't know. He's got a red nose. Okay, well, and if you don't want to have a red nose, you can color it something different. All right, let's go ahead and bring in the mousse. So here is our mousse all cut out. Let's bring in our real red layer, which is 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. And we're going to layer this basic white on top of that. And this is 4 by 3, the basic white. But when you place an order with me this week to get this kit free sent to you, I'll be sending a recipe card. And I call it a recipe card because it will have pictures and it'll have all the measurements that you need. And then you can watch this video. I had on my hand there. And then you can watch this video to make your projects. All right, let's go ahead and pop up our little mousse. And actually, before we do that, let's just go ahead and turn over our Real Red, and we'll just go ahead and add some dimensionals on this layer and pop it up in the front of our card, and then we'll finish adding our sentiment and our mousse. So I'm just going to put one dimensional in each corner and one in the middle. I always like to add a dimensional in the middle of a layer, cardstock layer, so it doesn't sag in the middle. And we'll bring in our card, and then we'll try to get this straight and also about the same amount of pool party cardstock showing around the top, right, and left. Now we will turn over our sentiment and our mousse. And I think 2 will be fine on our sentiment piece. This is a fairly quick card. So we're going to add this mousse right here. He's listening to the mouse sing from his songbook. I'm going to put this right. I'm going to tuck that right under his ear, just like that. And then we'll bring in our embellishments. I might take your pick tool, and we're going to use the larger. These are, you have 2 colors. You have gray and smoky slate. And I'm using the smoky slate on this one. On my sample, I use the gray. So you can decide which one you like the best. So here's one we made together. Here is the sample card, where I use the gray, and here I use the smoky slate. So you can see which you like the best. And this is card 2 of our 4 projects for our craft along. So let's go ahead and make card 3. Here is our card 3 for our craft along. Have a very Merry Christmas. And let me show you how to make this card. So we'll bring in what we need. We're going to start with a basic white card base, which is 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. And then we're going to take Designer Series paper from Take a Bow. This is 5 1/4 by 4, and we're going to add this to our card base. So we'll add this to the front of our card base. Try to get it lined up. And then we have a stylish shape next to the smallest circle. And we have die cut a little bow or wreath from our dies. And then we have 2 basic whites. You have 2 basic whites in your kit. The smaller one is the one that you're going to stamp the bear on. And I already have our bear ready to go. So we'll just go ahead and ink them up with Memento Black ink. I didn't get his nose very well, so we'll just turn that over. There we go. All right. Now we're going to need Granny Apple Green Blends, Crumb Cake, and Real Red. So I'm going to show you how I color this. It won't take very long, and I already have one die cut out. So I am going to take our dark crumb cake, and I'm going to just add that dark on his ears to make his ears a little darker. And then once again, I'm just going to follow those lines that Stampin' Up! Has given us to do our shading, make his tail a little darker. Then I'm going to come back with our light crumb cake. And we are going to color in his face. Now there are some lines on, see these lines here that we could have done some shading on his face too if we wanted to. And then I'm just going to pull in this shading. It's going to kind of go over that dark and then kind of pull it in. So it kind of blends it together. Since it's a larger image, I'm using the larger point of our blending pens. Kind of doing circles. On the body. Okay, this bear is really, really easy to color. Then I'm going to come back with light Granny Apple Green. That's the dark, so I'm going to use the light. And I'm just going to color the entire wreath. Now, the first time I did this, I used red first, but I find it's better if you just use the Granny Apple Green. Got a little bit over there. And come back with light Real Red. And I am going to use this smaller. And then I'm going to there's some circles on the wreath, and so I'm going to just color those in with the light red, and then I'm going to do the same, use the light red for our bow. And if you wanted to come back and add some darker where the lines are, you can come back with your dark Real Red. So I've got a little bit here, and I think that wreath goes around his neck. So I'm going to come back and then just add some Granny Apple Green right there. It kind of shows that wreath goes all the way around. Then I'm going to take the die, and we're die cut this out, and by magic I have this cut out for us. Okay, let's go ahead and do a little stamping. We're going to have a very Merry Christmas, and I'm going to use the Real Red. We'll tap that, and then we'll put this. And this is the stylish circle next to the smallest. And let me grab another one because I need to bring that over just a little bit. So we'll see if Second time's a charm. Okay. Okay, I think that'll work. All right, move that aside. And now we are going to bring in our basic white, and we are cardstock layer, and we are going to use Forever Plaid. And we are going to lay it in here, just like this. And then I am going to go ahead and we are going to emboss this. Let me move my blends out of the way. Bring our cut and emboss machine. We'll need plate one. This is a 3D embossing folder, so we'll need plate 1 and our embossing folder. And then we'll need plate 3. So for 3D embossing folders, you need plate 1, your embossing folder, and then plate 4 for using our cut and embossing machine. Here we go. And what we are going to do is that we are going to tear this layer, and we're going to tear it on the long side, across the top, and across the bottom. So once again, each of your cards that you make is going to look a little bit different. They're going to look just a little bit different. And then I'm going to tear up here. And I kind of have I'm just tearing a little bit at a time as I go. I'm kind of holding it. Just like that. And now I'm going to bring in my ribbon. This is our silver and white ribbon. And I'm going to wrap it around this layer. Notice that this is a little narrower than this side. So I'm going to turn it around and put my ribbon around the wider side. So I am going to wrap this like this. And then we are going to tie a bow. I'm going to put it over just a little bit. There we go. I'm kind of putting it over where the little indentions go, where I tore that. And we'll go ahead and tie a bow. And we can work with our bow and get it just like we want. All right, and now I'm going to bring in our card base, and we are going to add this to our card base. Before we do that, I want to make sure that I have room for everything. So I'm going to place our sentiment and our wreath. And let's grab our little bear. So we're going to put a bear here. And we can move that over just like this. And our wreath can go like that. Okay, that should work. Okay, let's go ahead then and add some adhesive. And we could always move this ribbon over a little bit if you wanted to. So that's why I wanted to place everything to make sure that I had room before I adhered this down and not able to move my ribbon. Okay, let's go ahead and bring in some dimensionals for our bear. Do you like this card? It's kind of a little different, isn't it, with the tearing the cardstock, but I want to show you can do lots of different things. I am just going to, here's where I stamped, but it didn't work out, so we are going to have a very Merry Christmas, making sure we have that straight. Let's bring in some glue dots. I'm going to bring in some glue dots for our wreath. And I'm just going to kind of twirl that around to make it small and add it right here. So when you use it, I've used all these glue dots, so you can go ahead and just tear that and throw that away. And I think that's fine. If you want to add a little bit of adhesive or another glue dot at the bottom, you sure can. And now let's see if we can get this. Just going to put it up just a little bit higher and just tuck that under our bear, just like that. Okay, now let's bring in our embellishments. And I'll put one, let's put one right over here. Put one right down there. And I think we will put one right here. All right, this is card 3 of our craft along. What do you think? Do you like it? Let me know in the comments. And here is our sample card. So in our sample card, I think the bow was over just a little bit more, so we had just a little bit more room to bring this wreath down a little bit, and we still could have on this. But other than that, I think it's just about the same. So here is card 3. So let's go ahead and look at all of our cards before we make our 3D project. So here is card 1, and we did add a bow on card 1. Card 2 is the Happy Holidays with the moose and the mouse. And then card 3 that we just finished is the bear have a berry Christmas. And remember that you can earn a free kit to make 2 of the 3 designs by placing an order now through Sunday, November 3rd, and place at least a $35 order before tax and shipping, and I will send you a kit that you can make 2 of each of these cards, plus 1 of the 3D project that we are going to make next. And then in the description, you have all the information, the host code that you need to use, the link, and if your order is over 50, I will also send you a package of the basic gray and smoky slate pearls. All right, let's get ready for the 3D project. Are you ready for our 3D project? Okay, let me show you the 3D project we're going to make. It's a little box, little gift box, and I have added a Velcro, so each of you that ordered the Craft Along kit, you have a Velcro. Then inside, of course, you can put anything that you wanted to, but if you, there's a little insert and you can just slide this out. And I have 12 Hershey nuggets in here, but you could add a gift. You could add, you could also add some money. So this is what we're going to make. Now, in your craft along kit, those of you that ordered it and you're crafting along with me, or you're going to be crafting, your cardstock is already scored for you, but I want to show everyone how to score this box. And those of you that if you place an order with me now, using the host code to receive the kit to make the 6 cards and 1 3D project that we're going to make right now, your cardstock will be scored for you. Okay, but I just wanted to go ahead and show that. So we're going to, again, we're using, of course, our Christmas Friends, but I wanted to point out that we have used the bear, we've used the moose, we've used the mouse, we've used the tree, we've used Happy Holidays, we've used all of the images, except we haven't used the owl, which of course we're going to use on this project. So we will have used all of the images in Christmas Friends. So in your kit, this is the pieces that you will have if you have the kit. And we are going to be using Granny Apple Green cardstock. And this is cut at 8.5 by 10.5. So an inch has, you cut off an inch, and I have already cut that. So this is 8.5 by 10.5, but I'm going to bring my trimmer in to score this. I like to use the scoring board, but it's a little bit trickier to place that on my table for you to see. So I think it would be easier for you to see using the trimmer. And what I like about our trimmer is that we have a cutting blade and we also have a scoring blade. So I hope that you'll be able to see this. Okay, I can't get quite, there we go. All right, so we are going to go ahead and score this. And you're going to turn, so the 8.5 inches is at the top. So we're going to score the 8.5 inches at the top. And you're going to score this at 1/2 inch. All the way up and down. And then we're going to score at 1 1/4. Now, you also will get a PDF with the measurements and everything. And then I'm going to turn this around. And we're going to do the same on the other side. We're going to score this at 1/2 inch. And then we're going to score it 1 1/4. And notice when I put my cardstock in, I look to make sure that I have it correct. And then I kind of put my hands here, so when I close the arm, it is not going to, the cardstock is not going to move. Then we're going to turn this so we have the long side across the top, and we're going to score this at 3 inches. and 3 3/4. Then I'm going to turn it around. We still have the long side at the top, but we're now going to go ahead and score on the other side exactly the same. 3 inches, and then 3 3/4. All right, now I'm going to bring in a diagram to show you. So it's just hand drawn. So you have 8 1/2 at the top, and you're going to these cutting lines. You're going to score it at 1/2, 1 1/4 on each 1/2, and 1 1/4 on each side. Then notice that I have this is X'd, should be all X'd out like this is, because we are now going to cut. We're going to cut this off. We're going to cut these off, and then you have your 3 and your 3 3/4. You'll get this diagram too. Hopefully it'll look a little bit better when you, those of you that already have it, I hope it's a little bit better than what I'm showing you right now. Okay, so now we're going to bring this back. And so what we are going to do is that we are going to place this back on our trimmer, and we are going to start with the 1 1/4 on that score line, and we're going to cut all the way down to this edge right here. So we're going to pass up the first 2 and then stop at the second one. So I'm going to slide this in, and I'm going to put that 1 1/4. Make sure that my score line is lined up. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down, and I'm going to start. I'm going to push that up just a little bit. Maybe I can bring that a little bit closer. I know with my lights it's hard to see. So I want to come down to right here. So I want to stop right here. So I want to cut up here and then stop down here. But what I'm going to do is that I'm going to line my cutting blade up to that score line. And then I'm going to slide it up. And then I have cut it right like that, okay? Now I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to turn it around. And then I'm going to start here and then go this way. So I'm going to line it up at 1 1/4. Make sure my score line is lined up. And this time I am going to start, get my cutting blade where I want to start at the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and cut up, and then I'm going to stop at this score line right here. Okay, and I think we're finished with the trimmer. But if not, it is close by, right? Okay, so now I'm going to bring my scissors in, and let's go back out. So I need to just snip a little bit more. Wasn't quite to that score line. Okay, so now we have these 2 pieces like this, and we're going to go ahead, and there's a score line. And I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. Okay, we don't need these 2 pieces, so I'll get them out of the way. I'll put it this way, so it kind of looks like a T, doesn't it? Or I guess an upside down T. All right, so if I can bring it up, and I don't know if you can see, but there's 2 little sections. There's a smaller section and then a larger kind of a square. So I am going to take my scissors. I'm going to cut straight across here, and then I'm cutting this out. So we look back at our diagram. This is gone. And I'm going to leave this, but I'm going to cut this little square out and this little square. So I am going to
turn this, and I am going to go ahead and cut on those score lines right like that. And then I am going to cut this small one off. I'm going to trim this just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to take my scissors and go straight to that score line. Then, can you see there's two sections? I'm just cutting this small section off. Okay, let's get rid of those. And then I want to miter these. So, these small little squares. Just going to take a little, I don't know, like a little triangle off each side. Just doesn't make it quite so bulky when we put our box together, our gift box. And then, just going to fold these up at the end. So you have, there's a score line here and then here. So on this smaller section, we're going to go ahead and just take a little piece off on that side. And then we're going to turn it around and do the same on the other side. All right. Now let's get rid of these scraps, and now let's go ahead and fold and burnish our score lines. Now, when I burnish them, I am trying to make sure that these are even with each side of the cardstock. Okay. Then I'm going to press this flap up, and then crease this one. And then I know I did bend this down, but it needs to go back this way. I just did that so you could see what we needed to miter. All right, so our box is taking shape. So these will go inside. So just kind of let me show you here. So this will fold up, and then this will come down like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and start decorating. Get little decorations on here. So I'm going to open it up. I know this is the front. It's going to lay my bone folder right there. And I'm going to bring in some designer series paper, and we're going to adhere this right to the front. You can use any designer series paper. I'm using, of course, take a bow. That I've been using on all of the projects, but you can use whatever that you have. And I just made it like 1/4 of an inch smaller than the box. Okay, and then let's see. I want to, so I'm folding this up. So this is the front of the box. Then I want to add a piece right here. So I have another piece of designer series paper at the same measurements that I'm going to add right here, which is 5 3/4 by 2 3/4. So add some adhesive. we will get it lined up as good as we can, right? Okay. Okay. Let's finish our box, and then we will decorate. So we have our designer series paper. I'm turning it over, and we're going to add some adhesive. Now, you could use tear and tape. I'm going to go ahead and use liquid glue. Okay. And then I'm going to tuck this in right like this, and hold that. Then I'm going to go on this side, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm tucking it in, using this finger to kind of make it so I can see that the edges are even and together. And you want to hold it just for a little bit to get a good adhesive, you know, so it's adhered well, and it's going to stay when you let loose of it. And then we are going to add adhesive here. We're going to add adhesive here, and then we're going to fold this up like this. So again, you could definitely use tear and tape. You could probably use stamp and seal. The only problem with, well, for me anyway, stamp and seal, for this project, it doesn't give you any, and I guess tear and tape doesn't either. It doesn't give you any wiggle room. So that's why I like the liquid. If I don't get it lined up just perfect, then I have a little bit, I can change it. So I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to make it even right here. And then I'm going to come over here. Okay, I'm going to lay that down. I'm going to bring this, I think it's block H, I believe. Anyway, you could use your bone folder too. I'm just going to kind of press in there. Come over here. And you could also use the end of your bone folder. And here is our box. So let's go ahead and decorate it. So I'm going to bring in some real red, and you already have, those of you that have the kit, you already have, this is already punched out for you, because I'm bringing in a 2 1/4 circle punch, and that's all we need. You're going to need Granny Apple Green, and let me grab the sentiment. Bring in our Memento Black ink. This is I'll Be Thinking of You This Season. Okay. And I am going to stamp it about in the middle, because I'm going to make a little banner out of one end, and then I'm going to tuck this under the owl on the other. So I'll be thinking of you this season. Probably could be just a little bit darker. So I'm going to turn that over, and let's stamp it again. So I can. All right, I think that will be fine. I think it's a little bit darker. And then I'm just going to go ahead and make just a little banner. So I'm just going to cut in at one end. I'm going to cut right in the middle. And then I'm going to come to the corner up to that where I cut in the middle. And do the same over here. And then you have a little banner. Okay, so we have that. Now let's bring in our scrap of basic white that we're going to stamp our owl on. So we have our owl, and I already have it ready to go. I'm going to grab another tuxedo black. I always have a couple of these on my desk, and see if it's a little bit darker. And then we're going to stamp our owl. Perfect. And then you're going to need something to color the owl with. I'm using crumb cake, granny apple green, Stampin' Blends, real red, just the light, and then pumpkin pie. So I'm going to start with the dark granny apple green, and we are going to color his hat. And Stampin' Up! Has already given us some lines on his hat, so you can just go over those with the dark, or whatever color you happen to use or have. Of course, you could use colored pencils. You could use our markers that we have. And I'm coming back with the light. And if I wanted the hat a little bit darker, then I could go over. Every time you go back over, it's going to get a darker shade. But I think that is fine. And I'm going to come back with the real red, I'm going to use the real red, not come back, because I haven't used it yet, right? So I'm going to just color that little pom-pom red. And I could leave this white, but I'm going to go ahead and color it in, because we're using real red circle, and that'll kind of, to place our owl on, that will kind of match. Okay, and that's all we need for the hat. And then I'm going to bring the dark pumpkin pie and this little beak. I'm just going to put one little line there, and then I'm just going to make some lines on his feet and come back with the light pumpkin pie. And we'll color in that beak. I'm sure they don't have orange feet, but that's what our little owl is going to have. And I haven't really seen too many owls with hats, but I think it's really, really cute. I'm going to crumb cake. I'm using crumb cake. I'm going to come in with a dark. And once again, I'm just going to kind of color this right up here. But then I'm just going to kind of make some dots, because there's a lot of lines here. So I may not go over all of them. I can do some dashes. So dashes, dots, and I'm kind of following the lines that Stampin' Up! Has given us. And then I am going to color the feathers of his tail just with dark crumb cake. Just like that. And I'm going to come back with the light crumb cake. I guess I could bring this down just a little bit now that I'm almost finished, right? And then I'm just going to kind of blend the dark in. And I'm kind of, notice that I'm kind of going in circles. And again, if I wanted to, I could go back with the dark to add a little more shading. And then I could also go back with this light that I'm using for the body and make it a little bit darker. I love our Stampin' Blends. They make anyone look like they're great at coloring. So there is our owl, quick and easy. Then I'm going to take our die of the owl and die cut this, but I've already done that. So I'll lay this aside and bring in our little owl. All right, so now before we put this together to decorate the top, let's bring in real red. And this is, let me look at my measurements, 4 1/4 by 6. And then what I did, I just scored it 3/4 on each side. And of course yours, those of you that have this kit already have this scored for you. So just go ahead and fold these up. And then, so the Craft Along kit, how is that different, you're asking me, or thinking maybe, for those of you that ordered the kit early. So if you ordered the kit early, you received the kit to make 6 cards, 2 of 3 designs, plus this 3D project. But you also received over $20 of product. And then now, if you would like to have me send you the card kit to make the 6 cards and the 3D box, place an order with me, and you will not have the product, but you will get all the pieces and everything to make these projects. And then if your order is over 50, I will also send you a package of gems. So what I am doing now is that I am just kind of taking off the corner. And the reason for that, it makes it a little less bulky and it's easier to pull in and out of your box. Okay. All right. Now the fun part. We get to do the decorating. Okay. So let's go ahead and then we also need to add a Velcro. So let's go ahead and pop up our little circle. Take off the backings and place this in the upper left-hand corner. And then I'm going to take this and I'll be able to tuck it right under our circle. But I want to pop this up also. And I'm going to just kind of slant that a little bit. And then we're going to add some dimensionals on our owl. Now notice that I'm getting like all of the dimensionals out of the middle, but you still have, this is all sticky here. So you still can use, you'll still be able to cut and be able to take these off and use them. Okay, so make sure you don't waste any of your dimensionals. Okay, we're going to put our little owl right here. Let's go ahead. I'm going to add that Velcro in a second. So this is our little insert, and it goes right in here. And then this little flap makes it easy for you to be able to pull it out. So if you want to add, you need 12 Hershey Nuggets, and then you can just add a strip of seal, and then just place your nuggets just like that. You can put a gift in there. So there's quite a bit of room. Okay. Let's go ahead and grab our Velcro. So I bought these little Velcros. I think at maybe a craft store. So they're sticky on the back. So what I'm going to do, there's a little clear piece that they're on. So I'm going to stick them together. And we're going to try that again. Okay, so I have another, I can't talk and do this evidently. So the Velcro is on a clear. This is the fuzzy part here. And so underneath this is a sticky. I want to take this and add it to the top of this part here that it is not sticky right here, but it will stick to this Velcro. So I'm going to do it like that. Okay. So I've made like a sandwich. So I still have the clear on the front and the clear on the back. All right. So now I'm going to peel this off. So they're sticky here. And I'm going to peel this off and they're sticky here. So I've put them together and I'm going to close my box. Like that. And then I'm going to open it. And I'm going to place that right here. And then I'm going to close the box like that. Then I'll be able to go in. And I should wait just a little bit, I know. And I have a little fuzzy white one and then the sticky part here. So then I can go ahead and grab my insert and slide it in here, and then go ahead and close my box. Let me bring in our embellishments. Of course, we've been working with the basic gray and the smoky slate, and I am going to bring my take your pick tool in and bring the silver and add it right here. And if we wanted to, we could go ahead and add a couple extra just like that. So here is our box, and here is the one that our sample. So I added a couple more embellishments. What do you think? Do you like it? Let me go ahead and open this, and here is our gift box, our 3D project. Let's go ahead and look at all of our projects one last time. And remember, place an order with me now through the end of my ordering special, which I will check. For some reason, it's just, I'm thinking I don't want to say the wrong date. So I will tell you in just a second. So here is our 3D project. Here was the first cards that we made using the moose and Christmas Friends, and our happy holidays with the moose and the mouse, and have a very Merry Christmas.
Okay, well, what did you think of the projects today? I hope you enjoyed my craft along for October using the Christmas Friends stamp set. I used every stamp in the Christmas Friends stamp set to make these projects. I had so much fun designing these projects. I would love to know which card that you liked the best. And what did you think about the 3D project? The little treat gift box. So leave a comment and let me know what you thought of today's projects. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please consider that by clicking the subscribe. And if you click that bell, you'll be notified when I go live. And I'm usually live on Tuesday at 1 p.m. Central. Again, thank you so much for being here. I hope that you have a great week, and I will see you soon. I am Terry Hartley at Rustic Barn Cards. Take care, and bye for now.